I think the human theme is strong this week. Steelers at the Steel Factory? Yes. 49ers heading for gold. Entrepreneurs? Yes. And my other one was, who was my other one? Minnesota Vikings. They're pillagers, sorry, but they're still human.
Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, Week 16. Best bets, gold, silver, bronze, the teaser, a recap of last week. Before we jump into everything, I want to wish you all a very happy holidays. And if you're looking for a gift for, let's say, your dad or maybe your mom super into golf, and you bet on golf, or you just like to bet on sports, or you play daily fantasy sports, the key is get them a joint entry into the Race for the Mayo Cup Golf One and Done. I did it for my dad last year, and it's like the only thing that we can talk. We have nothing to talk about, so now we have a little bit to talk about. Where we split a team, we talk about what pick we want to make each and every week. Then we have something to sweat together in golf. It's $200 for the year. It runs from January through August. You make your one pick per week, and you move on your way. It's like the least intense sweat, but most fun, realistically, way to
betting.
Enjoy golf. Yeah,
saving relationships, Pat.
Exactly.
Saving relationships. It's like my buddy and his mom. I go over to their house. He's betting on golf. She's hacking darts. He's hacking darts. I go, yeah, it's a family. Golf is actually one of those things that does bring people together. I know a lot of families that get together with golf.
It happens with me and my dad as well. My dad gets forwarded a pool every week from the guys at the gym. Pick one guy from every single box. He's like, Rob, make the picks. I make the picks. I go over on the weekend. He's like, why the hell did you pick this guy? I'm like, well, you could have made the picks yourself if you wanted to. I'm the fall guy on all these.
Exactly.
So if you go to fantasygolfchampionships.com, you can go get up to 5 entries in the Race for the Mayo Cup. There's $80,000 for first place. There's 4,440 people in the tournament. So we just made the entry fee bigger for this year without expanding the pool. Therefore, it's still winnable. It doesn't have tens of thousands of people in it. It just costs an extra $75 this year. But we were able to really jack up the prize pools because of it. So $80,000 to first. I think it's $54,000 to second. Everyone who finishes inside the top 10 is going to get 5 figures. And like I said, it's a very good Christmas gift for your dad if you don't have anything else going on. The link is down in the description. Once again, fantasygolfchampionships.com. Additionally, both DraftKings rake-free tournaments are available for week number 16. There's a Sunday only. Then there's a Christmas only. 2,000 people in one of them, 1,500 people in the other. They're all rake-free. You can have up to 3 entries. So I would suggest that you go get your spots now before they're all full. Fellas, we had a good week in week number 15. 7-2, 3-0 on the gold, 3-0 on the silver, and then Rob and I faltered a little bit on the bronze picks. But not you, Cam. Perfect week for you.
Unbelievable. Oh, did I get the hook with the what was my bronze pick?
It was the Bear. We all had the Bears 3.5.
Yeah, that's right. Dallas, Detroit, and the Bears. I wasn't sure if it was the Packers or Steelers.
I went Packers as the
Dude,
bronze.
that team is dead to us, right, Rob? Like, you have the easiest schedule in the league, and the minute these guys started thinking about we got the easiest schedule, like they're making Baker Mayfield look like the second coming of Joe Namath here. That guy's shredding them. I got to give Baker Mayfield credit, guys. He's been great this year. Like, I'm really impressed with this guy. He's been good.
Yeah, I mean, if DeMar Hamlin didn't die on the field last year, Baker might win Comeback Player of the Year this year, but it's probably not going to happen at this point.
Well,
I don't mean it as a joke. I'm being like,
yeah. You're right. You can't take the award away. That's why we have to have separate awards in the NFL. And I defended Geoff and you, Pat, for your take on Campbell. Like, the problem with the NFL is their awards suck. They should have most valuable quarterback, most valuable offensive lineman, most valuable defensive lineman, most valuable linebacker. Let's break it up. Have more awards for play. MVP. What the hell are you talking about, Brock Purdy? Like, Christian McCaffrey's amazing. You can make a case for Lamar Jackson, other guys. So anyway, Rob, we do not agree. Everyone loves awards anyway. Every position. Just break it up. Or call it most valuable quarterback and do less. That's my take.
Isn't that what the All-Pro team is for?
That's what I was about to.
The All-Pro team sucks. No one cares about the All-Pro team. Like, because we can bet on awards, Pat. That's the thing. We can't bet on who will make All-Pro team.
Well, you could technically, if a sportsbook offered it, you could.
But they don't.
They don't. So maybe you should email a sportsbook. Email DraftKings.
I got enough problems, man. Email a sportsbook? Still want my money back from bad bets that I made, Rob, let alone betting on the All-Pro team.
We found out this week on the Spread Pick Show that Tim is a refund bro. He was trying to get out of his bet with Paul.
Dude, I'll tell you something about Welchers. They're not welcome in my house. It's something that goes back to childhood. I remember I played this guy in tennis, this guy Bob, and I beat him in tennis. Oh no, you didn't. Oh, I'm not going to pay you. Like that just tells you about somebody's character. And I liked him. Tim, if you're listening, I don't care if you owe Pat money, Pizzola, Geoff money, pay them. If you welch out on a bet, that your status as a human being has gone down with me, and I love you and I care about you, don't do it. You got to pay your debts. Right, Rob?
I'm with you, man. It's only on the totem pole. It's only slightly below murderers. You go murderers, Welchers, right next on the list.
Welchers.
I can't stand it. I mean, I bet for a living. So I mean, I deal with this stuff all the time. There's nothing that's more painful than the guy who owes you money, deletes their Telegram account. You never hear from them again. I can't stand people like that. There's just, when I lose, I pay. I expect the common courtesy from other people as well. Why can't we all be like that? There should not be people out there.
Rob, remember the score? So listeners would call in and challenge us.
Oh my God.
We'd win bets. Those guys are gone. They'd win. We send them money. It's like, this isn't really a good situation we have going on here. That's why we had to stop that stuff, remember? I'm still waiting for raised money for like the last 20 years, for God's sakes.
I mean, that was our own fault. We were really stupid for betting against listeners. Yes.
But it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Of course. You thought you had a good bet. This idiot wants to take the other side. What you're not accounting for is the fact that you're never going to get paid if you win. They're just going to stop calling into the station. Yeah. They're just going to stop calling in.
Yep.
To reframe it a little bit, he did not want to pay. He wanted to run it double or nothing, and then made a big case that, I would give you double or nothing if it was the case. Paul allowed him an out on the bet in week 2 as well, after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. And he didn't want to take it, and he rubbed it in Paul's face when the Jets beat the Bills, so now Paul wants his money.
I do believe in giving someone a chance to win their money back, but I don't think that it's net like that. This is not an excuse for you not to pay. If someone says, no, I don't want to run double or nothing, you can't say well, then I'm not paying you. You have to reluctantly pay them. But I do believe in giving someone a chance to try to win their money back. Paul, I think that's just common courtesy.
I agree, Rob, but the problem is then they lose again, and then they hit the panic button, and we're doing this shit all night. Like in poker, come on, let me, I don't play poker because of my face, but I know guys who do, and I've hung out and just drank and partied with them while they're playing, and things get ugly when one guy gets torched. He buys in. Oh, come on. And then it gets kind of to a point where it's getting stupid. Then you feel bad if children are involved. If he's a single guy, he's just an idiot. He could deal with his own problems. But like Patrick Mayo, he's got a family to support here. And the guy's losing his Gerber and Pampers monies at the poker table, which is not good.
Paul would like to weigh in on this because he is the...
Yes. I like Paul. I like when I hear Paul. He's like the mysterious voice. I like it. Bring him on.
So I gave him an opportunity to win his money back. I said that he could, I'm going to make him wait 365 days a year. Rather than doing double or nothing, I would run it back next year. And then he said, I'm never doing a bet with anybody ever again on the face of the planet. So it is what it is.
Well, Shag,
sometimes
I'm
you
going to
got
have
to
to
learn
take
your
your
lesson.
side. Yeah, you got to teach people a lesson, Shag. Yep. That's the thing. You teach them a lesson. Right?
Shag is definitely... He's not in the wrong at all here. Shag it's fine. If you tell him you're going to run it back next year, I think that's totally fair. I think Tim is just being a big baby, to be honest. That's what it sounds
scare
like.
Him, Shag. Come to his domicile and tie him up and threaten him. But we're all friends here on the program here. Right, Rob? We don't want to get stabby at the Christmas season.
I did avoid that. I did see that Aaron Rodgers was going to get activated off injured reserve. So at least he can victory lap that Aaron Rodgers came back this year, according to him. Even if he doesn't play, he came back, Rob.
Yes, I know how. Tim is very smart, conniving. He should have been a lawyer. He really should have been he will find a way to twist all of these things to make it look like he was right. Anyone who said Rodgers is coming back this year was wrong. Plain and simple. He can't play in a game. You are wrong. It doesn't matter. He's getting activated off IR so he could keep practicing with the team. That's basically the reason that they're doing it, or else they'd have to shut him down for the year. So we'll get out ahead of this, Pat. Let's get out ahead of this movement with Tim. If he's going to use this excuse, let's just all tell him it's wrong beforehand, which it is. I mean, he's definitely wrong in this situation.
And when you make stipulations, you have to say, will Aaron Rodgers take a snap or run? You have to have some stipulations, like legalese in the contract, right? You can't just say, will he be on will he play? I don't know. You know what I mean? If he's on the sideline, yeah, Rob's right. Tim's like Celino and Barnes. He'll find a way to put the wording in the contract, and you're going to get screwed.
So you were talking with Feinberg on your show on the Forward Progress YouTube channel, Rob, doing the watch along. What's Jeff's vibe like now that the Chargers suck?
Oh, it's very bad. He's in a foul mood every single night. So he's going to California now with his family for the holidays. And his 10-year-old nephew, I was told, is a Chargers fan. And Jeff was going to take him to the Chargers-Bills game this weekend. Now Jeff has reneged on this because he hates everything Chargers. He's like, no, I'm not taking my nephew to the game. So I'm calling out Jeff. I'm like, listen, he's a 10-year-old kid. He's a Chargers fan. And Jeff says to me, Rob, he's not really a Chargers fan. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he doesn't follow football? He's like, he likes two teams. He's not just a Chargers fan. I'm like, what's his other team? His other team is the Bills. He's a Chargers and Bills fan. They're playing this week in LA. Jeff's staying an hour from there, and he refuses to take him to the game. He's like, I'm not taking him to the game. Instead, he's taking him to the Holiday Bowl, USC and Louisville.
Oh, great game. I like the Holiday Bowl. Less pain for the kid. Well, he's going to be hurt by one team losing, probably Easton Stick and the Chargers, right? Oh, Geoff.
I'm laughing so hard because this was his he's like, if you bring this up, Cam will originally be disgusted, but as soon as he finds out it's the Holiday Bowl, he's going to be ecstatic.
I am.
The kid is a Chargers and Bills fan,
and
he won't bring him to see his favorite teams.
Get him into college football. It's a good start. I'm proud of Geoff. It's been a rough year being a Charger fan. Like, this team, like, I got to be honest with you, man. Like, Rob, as a tortured, like, Leafs fan, and at least we got one with the Raptors, the Blue Jays. Think about Ohtani. You knew he wasn't going to come here. Everybody in the world had fake reports. It's just, we're used to being speed bags and getting beat up, but it's like after a while, like, it's not right. Like, the Chargers, like, it's just sad. Like, I feel for Geoff, actually. He loves, remember, his tagline was, I love Phillip Rivers more than you love your family. And that's fact. So what's he going to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the good news is he's getting older and he has a wife and kids. And I would hope that the family would become more important because, like, you know, I love the Seahawks and that was great when they beat the Eagles late in that game, but it doesn't affect me the way it did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to cry when Lyle Alzado and Howie Long used to, like, put David Craig in a fucking, like, you know what I mean? He was basically put him in a bunker and step on his neck and just laugh at the Seahawks. Ha ha, look at these pussies. We're killing these guys. The Raiders are so mean. And I go, Mom, why do they always win? Like, Seattle, you can't beat these guys. Like, now, you know, I don't care.
I think we're failing to recognize here that he has a child, a 10-year-old kid who cheers for two teams who are going to be in the same state as where he's going to be. And he refused. Like, Jeff, go to the game and put on a Bills jersey and root against the Chargers if you hate for your franchise so much. Like, he's like, I refuse to step into that building. I refuse to drive in traffic and step into that building and support that team and whatever. It's like, who cares? It's a holiday season. It's like,
Rob, in his defense, have you driven in LA traffic? It is a fucking nightmare. It makes Toronto traffic look like a joke. It's horrible. It took us a fucking hour down the street to go to the convention center when we're doing those Super Bowl shows. Like, I'm talking like 5-minute drives or an hour.
Well, to
ride a bike faster.
I'm in the old Score building for the Hammer, and it takes me 45 minutes to get to the Gardner. I know what traffic's like. It sucks. Yeah. But at some point, you just swallow your pride and you say, it's the holiday season. This is a memory that my nephew will have for the rest of his life, seeing his two favorite teams play in the same building.
I'm on Jeff's side. Holiday Bowl's the pick.
Well, that will be the Spotify question of the week. So if you go onto the Spotify app and click on this episode, you should subscribe and download while you're there. Leave a 5-star rating, obviously. But we have a poll up for most episodes now. We had one for the Spread Show, so I suggest you go check that out. We had one for this show last week of what the theme of the week was going to be, and I didn't look at the results, so I should probably figure that out. But this week, are you on Team Jeff or Team Rob with this one? Or Team Cam or Team Rob? Is it Holiday Bowl or is it Chargers-Bills game? Which one would you like to take your 10-year-old nephew to? Will be the Spotify question of the week. So even if you don't subscribe to the show on Spotify, now this gives you a reason to go to Spotify and help us with our engagement. Because that's the whole thing, Rob. We need the engagement. Then we get to the front page. Then we get more viewers. Then we get more cash. And then we can stop doing the show.
Bingo. Yeah, engagement is key. Yeah, that's why you tell people to smash the like. If you're watching right now on YouTube and you haven't smashed that like button already, what are you waiting for? You got to smash it because it tells YouTube that people like this content It elevates it to the other people who haven't seen it before. The algorithms, Cam, they're taking over nowadays. We need the engagement.
I agree with you guys. I would love to work with you more than one time a week. It'd be fantastic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's great. But you guys would probably get sick of me after a while. By the way, Rob, I'd like to apologize. A guy on Twitter, sometimes I cut you off and I get emotional and stuff like that. I'd like to apologize. Sometimes I do that. So you're a good man, and I'm sorry I do that to you sometimes. I get too emotional.
I've never had any issues with it. I've known you for many times. I let you speak. You let me speak. It's okay. We're going to disagree on things probably 80 to 90% of the time. It's fine. It's just life.
We've been in Simpatico this week, the last few weeks, and it's on fire. So
it's true. It's working. It's working.
Yep. Italian-Scottish connection, Pat. It's a dangerous thing.
That would have been like a 1984 WWF tag team, the Italian and Scottish connection.
What's the finishing move, Rob? What is it? The caper toss, or what's the Italian move?
The toonie toss. You ever been to the Stags?
You're Stags. I love the toonie toss. You know what the problem with that game is? You can tell when people have real gambling problems because you're like, some guys just quit after two. I'm like, oh my God, Rob, we just dropped $300. I gotta get it closer. I gotta get closer. Gotta win a toonie toss. It's the curling of Italians.
People bring like hundreds of dollars worth of toonies, and when like the contest is wrapped and they're like, okay, this is done, it's gonna be, people come out of the woodworks with all these two because they want to throw last. No. We're going. It always lasts like 2 hours later than it's supposed to because people go nuts at that stuff.
Okay, I need some clarification here. A, if people don't know because they're not Canadian, a toonie is a $2 coin. Number two, what are you guys talking about?
Okay, so at like Stags, which are like a fundraiser for the groom for a wedding.
That's a real Ontario thing, pal.
Oh yeah, it's not even an Ontario thing. It's like a Woodbridge
more Italian.
thing.
Like, just take people's money.
You have people come from Italy. They're like, "What the hell is this? We never heard of this in our life." But there's a game called a toonie toss. Usually, there's a very good prize. It's like a wheelbarrow full of booze, maybe like a Vespa or something like that.
Didn't you have a lawnmower, Rob? You had like a lawnmower.
No, I had
a
mountain
bike.
Yeah, because I remember you lost it last minute and you were very upset.
I was winning, Pat, all the way to the end, and one of Rob's Italian cronies, one of these ringers. Oh yeah, I won. I needed that mountain bike, man, to go to the beer store, and I've had a few.
It was actually it was a Sri Lankan guy that I worked with at the store at the time. Yeah, and Cam claimed at that time he was trying to barter really over the course of the night for the bike, saying that he recently had the bike stolen from his townhouse complex.
I actually did, though.
Because the kids in his area don't like him, is what he was telling people around.
Rob, I had a $2,000 Marin mountain bike. It was a really good bike, and it got stolen. Like, if I ever see that kid on that bike in Mississauga, like, you don't know what I'm going to do, man.
That bike's been sold in parts.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
It's been taken apart and sold in parts. You'll never see that bike again.
I won't say. But, Pat, I will say my claim to fame was I was at Camera 2 Drew's Stag, and they had the prosciutto lift. And Rob showed you, it's a great guy. So basically, I have to put both hands out with a frozen prosciutto. It's like a feats of strength contest.
Yeah.
And I'm up against cops, firefighter, and even Morency's like, Cam just wants it more. I do. I'm like, it came with a bottle of whiskey too, and it was really good, like Scottish. I'm like, and I went for $1.32. I won. I walked into there with a huge prosciutto and a huge bottle of scotch, and it was fantastic. And I'll tell you, Pat, I've never had, like, it's like women whose kids are dying and they can lift cars. That was me when I saw the prosciutto and booze. I went.
132 is actually a very impressive time. Typically, Rob, like 115, 120.
It's frozen. Yeah, I know. I beat the cop by 17 seconds. He couldn't believe it. He goes, man, and that was when I was fat.
It more.
I did want it more.
I mean, this could just be speaking to the state of the physical fitness of the police force at this point, too.
No, the guy was ripped, Pat, and the firefighter was ripped, too.
Sounds like they got popcorn muscles, no functional strength.
Working the glamour muscles are those police officers.
Yeah, just get a few arm curls on the go. Yeah, that's my gym session for the day.
Yeah. Anyway, it was strictly passion and want. I just looked at that meat and go, no, and then it was great. One of my listeners, Pat, when I did the AM show with John Oakley, he's like, I go, hey, I got this prosciutto. I don't know. He's like, hey, Cam, I got a slicer. So Francisco came over to my house. I go, here's the deal. We'll vacuum seal this bad boy. You know, you take what you want from the thing and I'll take mine. It was like literally, Rob, we eat prosciutto like every weekend. It was like charcuterie tray. God, those days were great. I miss them so much.
You could just buy a prosciutto now.
Yeah, I could. It's not the same though when you win one. It just feels
It's true.
Better.
It tastes better. It tastes better too when you win it.
Saltier and just absolute. I love Italian food. That's so good. Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can get people affording some of the stuff for the holidays,
Yes.
or maybe even for a New Year's party with the gold picks. 3-0 a week ago. Let's see if we can match that again. Unlikely. But here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take the now underdog Indianapolis Colts on the road at the Atlanta Falcons. Is this game going to be stupid? Absolutely. Does Atlanta need it more? I mean, they need it, but it's not like the Colts don't need it at this point either. I just think the Colts are a better team. And I know that Heineke is back starting. He's not good. Is he marginally better than Desmond Ridder? Maybe. Maybe he won't just throw the ball to the other team in the red zone every single time. At least Ridder was like okay at getting to the red zone. I just see it where the Colts are the more talented team. They're the better coach team. They play in the tougher conference. They are the superior team in this situation. They have a much better defense. So I think the Colts as underdogs, even on the road, is where I want to be, Cam.
I don't know, Pat. I kind of like the Falcons.
You
but
like the
know me,
Falcons every week.
Do I?
Probably. People who like the
Is it-
Falcons, the people who like the Falcons are like, man, they're so good and they don't win. And people are like, I can't believe they don't win, even though they lose every week.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just, you know the way I think, Pat. I just, I can't. I love you. Like, you're a great guy. Like, you gave me more than anybody's given me before. A freezer full of food that I'm really like plowing into right now. It's funny. I got another roast ready to go. But I just think Atlanta shows up this week. I don't like the game. Personally, I would take Atlanta. Sorry, Rob. I don't want to be the Scrooge, but
No.
what do you think?
You're entitled to your opinion. I don't have an opinion on the game. If I had to bet it, I'd bet Indy. Part of the reason why is that Minshew is a quarterback that has very drastic splits against certain styles of defense. Basically, he struggles a lot against cover 3. Atlanta doesn't play a lot of cover 3. So overall, I do think the Colts are going to be able to move the ball. Personally, I already bet the over in this game. I'm just going to be rooting for points. But I don't know. Like, I'm kind of with Pat. These NFC South teams, they play each other. They kind of look okay and somewhat competent in some of those games. And they go outside of division and they like always lose those games for some reason or another. Not always. There's examples of them winning. But generally speaking, you look at that division outside of their own division this year, and it's been a real challenge for a lot of those teams. Also, last thing for me on this one is I just think there's a big coaching like matchup advantage for the Colts here, who tend
That's
to
true.
do things right with Steichen versus Arthur Smith, who I think is at the end of the year. He gone.
I would agree that he's probably not going to return. I've seen people calling him Art Smith now. And
really?
yeah, and I just don't know, because you don't see that many people named Arthur anymore. I mean, you have your aardvarks, you have your characters in TV shows that are absolute goobers, like they're named Arthur. But like in real life, Arthur, and then calling someone Art. Like, when was the last Art that you met that wasn't 80 years old?
It's a good call.
No.
Like,
The
you
only
call
Art,
Richard Dick and like that's like, you know what I mean? That could happen, but I don't know. Arthur's Arthur. I don't know any guy named Art.
I've never met an Art. The only Art that I'm familiar with is Art Vandelay, which is a made-up character by George Costanza. That's the only time I've ever encountered an Art in my life.
It's true. I
All
know
right.
a couple Arthurs, but no Art.
All right.
And, I don't know any Arts. No.
All right, Rob, what do you got for the gold picks?
I have a decision to make now because one of the lines moved while Cam was talking about holding prosciuttos up in the air. So I'm not sure if I want to do that as my gold or silver. I'll keep it as the gold. I'm going to take the Vikings +3
Love
now as my gold pick.
Wow. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with me and Rob over the last month, but like I feel like I'm living in his wall. Like, you know those shows that you see with the eyes behind the painting, and I'm following him around. Like I'm in his domicile right now. We're reading each other. Love the Vikings this week, Pizzola.
I mean, last week was the buy low on
Yep.
Detroit, and they blew out Denver, a team that I thought they matched up really well against. This week, I think they match up very poorly against Minnesota. If you just look at Goff over the course of his career, he struggled very much when pressured. If you look at his PFF grades this year, he's number 1 when he's not blitzed. He's number 29 when he is blitzed. We know Minnesota's going to blitz a lot. On top of that, not only is Minnesota blitz a lot, but they kind of keep opposing quarterbacks like off guard. They catch them off guard a lot of times. They also have the most times this year, or the highest rate of rushing only 3 men and dropping everyone into coverage. Worst quarterback in the league against 3-man rushes this year is Jared Goff. Minnesota plays the highest rate of cover 2 in the league. Bad matchup for Jared Goff. All this, like, this is like the confusion game for Goff, in my opinion. But on the other side of things, the Lions defense, looked good against the Broncos because the Broncos don't move the ball on anyone. Like Sean Payton knows Russell Wilson's limitations at this point. They just want to run the ball, check it down, not make any big mistakes. The Lions defense cannot defend Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. Nick Mullins will have a couple throws every game where you're going to have a heart attack. But overall, he can stretch the field. He can push the ball. He had a higher success rate than Josh Dobbs did in
Ty
any
Chandler's
start.
been great, Pizzola.
100%. They found a running game as well. So I just think this is a bad price. Honestly, you need Detroit now to win by 4 or more. Most likely outcome of this game is Detroit by a field goal, but I do think there's lots of scenarios where Minnesota wins here, and it's a good matchup for them. So Vikings +3 gold selection this week.
I'm on board with the Vikings as well. You too, Cam?
Too, man. Yep. Oh yeah, it's in my minerals, and I had it in a different hole than gold, but it's definitely it's there. It's one of my favorite bets this week. Rob's onto something. I think Minnesota should have beat Cincinnati if not for a stupid collapse at the end of the game there. Addison made some crazy plays. Hey, T. Higgins, he took the Bengals on his shoulders with that crazy catch and stuff like that.
Yep.
A lot of things happen. Mullins made a couple mistakes, but that's the thing. We were on Detroit. We said Detroit, we're going to murder Denver. They did that. And now Rob's right. Now we're getting a line saying we're getting a Minnesota team getting 3 points. I think they can win the game, so I'll definitely take them. I think it's a great pick.
What is your gold pick?
I'm going to do something absolutely fucking stupid like I do every week for my gold pick, but it's working great. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers as my gold pick this week. +2. Everyone's telling me I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, I've heard it my whole life. I don't care. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Mason Rudolph is 100 million fucking times better than Mitchell Trubisky. I don't care what stats, simulations. This guy's reading my ear already. Hey, I'm telling you, Pat, he's going to be better. He came in the game late. He was a little bit rattled. This team sucks. Yes, they suck. It's a weird line, kind of a trap. Everyone thinks Pittsburgh's going to fade. They got embarrassed by Indianapolis on TV. Now we're coming home with a 2. People would bet Cincinnati at 3. I'm telling you, this is the week the Steelers show up. That defense is going to put Browning in a pretzel. That's the key to the game. They show up. They play for Tomlin. Pittsburgh by 4. I'm getting 2. I like them outright. Give me the Steelers. I'm probably going to regret this. I don't like the team personally, but I like them this week.
I like Cincinnati in this game, but I can see where you're coming from. My case wouldn't have been Mason Rudolph is a million times better than Mitchell Trubisky. That probably would have been it.
No,
he's not. I'm going
not a million times. Not a million times.
Cam, he's worse. He's worse than Trubisky.
I disagree.
He might be better in one game, but we've seen Mason Rudolph. He's terrible. He's garbage.
Mitchell Trubisky's way worse. He can't make any plays. Mason Rudolph has won games before. I tend to disagree with you guys here. I'm telling you, I trust him more. I'm not
if
saying
Mason
he's
Rudolph
good.
was better than Mitchell Trubisky, when Kenny Pickett got hurt, Mason Rudolph would have been starting over Mitchell
Mike
Trubisky.
Tomlin's opinion, man. That's their coaching staff's opinion. I think Mason Rudolph, he angered the organization after that Cleveland game with Garrett when he got into all that crazy shit. You guys remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, that has something to do with this. They have to play him now because they know Trubisky can't get it done. He's much better. Sorry, that's just my opinion, and I'll agree. Like people, if you think Trubisky's better, that's fine. Trubisky's a better athlete, but I think Mason Rudolph can make more plays, keep the chains moving, and let's call this out. Trubisky's accuracy is some of the worst I've ever seen. Rob,
He sucks.
He can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
Rudolph can maybe he needs a little more zip, but at least he can find a guy. Let's just say this. He's not a million times better. I like him better in this offense, and I like him better in this situation. And I think the Steelers will do better with him. I just don't trust Trubisky. He's regressing.
Yeah, I actually agree a little bit on Pittsburgh here. This just reminds me a little bit, though, of like everyone was roasting Zach Wilson, and they're like, Zach Wilson sucks. There can't be a worse option. Then Tim Boyle came in, and we're like, actually, you know what? Zach Wilson might actually be the best option for the Jets. But to me, the big injury here is DJ Reader for the Bengals. Like Jamar Chase, everyone's going to talk about that. And for obvious reasons, he's amazing. But DJ Reader, to me, is huge because if you look at these teams played 3 weeks ago. In that game, by the way, Pittsburgh closed as a favorite, 2-point favorite at Cincinnati. They're now 2-point underdog. Now, it's not Pickett. It's a much worse quarterback. But the key in that game for Pittsburgh was they were able to run the ball at will on a Cincinnati defense. And it basically comes down to that again this week for me, in my opinion. Can the Steelers run the ball successfully with Reader out on the defensive line? I honestly think that they can do that. I don't know who's going to win the game, but it seems to me like more of a coin flip or a coin toss and you're getting Steelers +2. So I'm kind of in that boat, Cam, with you. In just that, like, I don't know that the Bengals deserve to be priced where they are right now.
I initially during this week, I was thinking about making Cincinnati one of my mineral picks. And the more I've thought about it, the worse it kind of seems. But I guess the way that I would kind of flip it back is we've seen the last two games now that the Steelers have been reeling, everything has started to go wrong for them. Like they lost to the Patriots outright. That is a very embarrassing result. They get waxed last Saturday. And the last time that these two teams played, I think it was 16-10, and the Steelers ended up winning. TJ Watt in the backfield the entire game. That was Browning's first start under center. He's looked much better since. And I know that there's no Jamar Chase, but that hasn't really seemed to be a problem for them. It's not like they're just attacking downfield the entire time. Now, maybe taking Chase out of it, they can't throw those bubble screens that Chase can just break off for 60 yards, and that limits their offense a little bit. But they are running the ball a little bit better. I hate to say this, but I think their offense looks a lot better since they started using Chase Brown.
Yeah, of course it does. Brown is he's a dynamic weapon. They screen him up a lot as well. He had that touchdown, that long one against the Colts a couple weeks ago. I agree with you there. I don't know. It's a massive uncertainty game for me altogether. Like the only counterpoint I would make is the first Browning start, T. Higgins was hurt in that game, and Chase was like their only target, and he couldn't move the ball through the air at all in that game. Now you get Chase hurt. Higgins is your top target. Do you have a little bit more of the same? Tough game because the Steelers have looked really bad, and honestly, they suck. But this is like kind of the situation that Tomlin has historically just found ways to win these types of games, as stupid as it sounds. I lean with Cam here. I won't bet the Steelers this week in all likelihood, but I think they're the right side.
You should not have made Minnesota your gold pick, Rob.
Why? Because
if you had just waited till your silver pick, you would have got 3.5.
I see it got pumped again. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Now, maybe Cam can get the 3.5 as silver now, and he can get the win.
Change my minerals.
Yeah,
I win.
Well, we're into silver picks. If you want to make Minnesota your silver pick, Cam, you get 3.5.
I do. The holster, Pat. Put the gun. Give me the Vikings. Skull. 3 horns and a hook. Thank you. I think they can win the game outright. Love the spot.
We talked we talked online about Dan Campbell being coach of the year, Cam, and we kind of heard your thought on what do you think about it, Rob? Because I agree with Jeff that every single year the coach of the year market is usually what team was bad that ended up doing really well that you didn't expect. The Lions are almost exactly who we thought they were going to be this year. And if anything, the front office deserves some sort of award where Dan Campbell, I don't want to say he's regressed as a coach, but his decisions, now that they don't work every single time, seem kind of baffling sometimes.
Yeah, like to me, Dan Campbell's chance to win coach of the year was last year, not this year. The expectations were way too high and they haven't outperformed them by that much. Now, they could win out for the rest of the season and he can win it. But in a season where there's been like quarterback injuries where coaches have now gotten their teams into the playoff mix, I think it's way more likely to go to one of those guys. So Shane Steichen, obviously, with leading the Colts to the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. I think Kevin Stefanski is very live now, especially with the quarterback, dilemmas that they've had in Cleveland if they get into the playoffs. I honestly Kyle Shanahan, no one's really talking about him, but if the 49ers just blow everyone out, there's a pretty strong case for Shanahan to win coach of the year as well. So I really haven't agreed with this market for a long time where Campbell's been priced towards the top. He can win, but I just think that there's so many other options that a lot would have to go right for him to win.
I'm with you. I think Stefanski's going to end up, depending on what happens, obviously. Like if the Colts end up winning out, then it probably ends up being Steichen. Or if the Lions win out, like you said, it's probably going to be, it seems like I don't want to say a career achievement, but that's and a makeup from last year when Campbell probably should have won it. And then Daboll came off the top rope at the last second, got the easy schedule, got himself into the playoffs, and that was that. And the Lions ended up missing towards the end of the season, despite, good on Dan Campbell for playing all the starters in Week 18 to beat Was Aaron Rodgers in that game in Week 18? Now I can't even remember.
I believe it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I remember they won the game in Week 18.
Yeah, because they knocked the Packers out of the playoffs.
Should be on the ballot too, don't you think, guys?
Well, Ryan's for sure, especially now because Stroud's concussion is apparently bad.
What a job by Case Keenum.
Oh my God! Please do not start.
Yeah.
He threw what should have amounted to 3 pick sixes last week. Every big play he had.
Who covered the game? It doesn't matter. They
Well, of course.
won.
Well, on the Case Keenum mode, this is a pick that I made on the Spread Pick show, and I flipped on it because C.J. Stroud is not going to play. At least that's the way it looks like right now for the Houston Texans. The Browns are now 2.5-point favorites in Houston. I don't think that's enough with the way these teams are currently constituted. If Keenum struggled that much against Tennessee's defense a week ago, I don't know what he's going to do against the Browns defense.
I'm with you. I mean, this got bet out, and then like Houston got some money back towards them. There's a lot of talk about the Browns defense, how it doesn't travel well, which is true. Statistically speaking, it's been way worse. But I don't see a strong, like Houston's defense to me has to win them this game. That's at least my thought on it. And I like matchups where you have a very skilled offensive-minded head coach versus a guy in D'Amico Ryans who, like, no disrespect, but these defensive coordinators turned coaches, they just like to rely on their defenses way too much, generally speaking. And they love to play these close games and punt and make bad in-game decisions. I think this number should be 3, personally. I do somewhat like the Browns in this game.
The way that I would think about it too, Cam, like when you see what Houston's defense does well, and we saw it against Tennessee last week, they have an amazing run defense. But since Flacco's taken over, Stefanski's like, yeah, let's just throw 60 times a game. No worries. And that's what you want to do against Houston.
It's a good point. And Flacco will make his mistakes, but the bottom line is the Browns have the defense to, you know what I mean? They can set you up, and they can force turnovers, and it'd probably be multiple turnovers in this game. I'd probably bet both quarterbacks to throw an interception in this game. Seems pretty likely to me, but I'm not really as keen on Cleveland as you guys are. I think the Houston Texans are just a team that figures it out. And I like Cleveland a lot. They made us a lot of money this year, but I prefer them to take them at home rather than on the road. I think it's a very difficult game.
See, I would tend to agree with you. And if Stroud was playing, I would pick Houston because I think that Stroud can get behind the defense. He can make the right decisions. He can use his legs. Case Keenum reeked last week. And maybe that's, we didn't even know that he was going to be playing. We thought it was going to be Davis Mills. All of a sudden, Keenum's on the case, and they end up winning in overtime. A lot of overtime games in Tennessee so far this season. Maybe that's a bet. Just bet.
Seattle. There was so much bullshit in that game. Like, I'm not on the bullshit train, generally speaking, or complaining about losses, but like Will Levis got smoked like 3 yards out of bounds late in that game. And there was so many things. And like, just rewatch that game and the amount of times that Keenum completed passes that went right through, like, and that's the Tennessee secondary. Like, they're so bad. All they do is give up passing yards. And he was like looking like he did throw a pick six, but it could have been a couple more in that game as well. I don't like Keenum at all. But Flacco turns it over a lot, to Cam's point. Like, everyone's praising Flacco, and he can stretch the field for sure, but he's also turning the ball over every single game as well. So maybe that's the equalizer in this one.
He's also an old man. The guy was off his couch and playing, so I'll give Flacco all the credit in the world. Case Keenum will make mistakes. Oh, yeah, Pat, by the way, thank you for reminding me about that Aaron Rodgers stuff. I just remembered Camber 2, Drew owes me wings and jugs for I said Aaron Rodgers would not play after the injury, so I'm on your side. So Andrew Custos, who is it? He owes the bet, and I better, yeah. I'm with you, Shag.
Well, don't
get our monies.
Well, I mean, their bet was Buffalo versus Jets win total this year. That when Cust was all fired up for the Jets before the season started. But with Drew, don't let him get Tim on the line, because Tim will tell you that with Rodgers being activated from injured reserve, that counts.
We had a deal with something about taking a snap, but anyway, that's a problem for another show and another day. So, by the way, Rob, I agree with you 100%. This is the deal. I don't care. This is a blanket statement, but the NFL, I know the officiating, they can't keep up with players. It's just a problem with the league. They like to keep things, nondescript and, we can't challenge this or blah, blah, blah. But since gambling has been instituted in all the American states and Canada and stuff, more people are playing. I'm watching a college game last night. They're fucking throwing mysterious pass interference calls when balls are sailing 20 yards over guys' heads. I'm just going to say the referees are impacting the game more and more, and hopefully you're on the right side. I'm not saying fixed manipulated. I'm just saying incompetence, bad fouls, and the like. Well,
2 weeks ago was the Mahomes, the Kadarius Toney lined up offside. Yep. What happened last week in the NFL? How many times did they call offensive offsides? They called more offensive offsides last week than you would have seen in the last decade combined, because there was obviously some memo that went out that's we can't just single out the Chiefs. You got to call this on everybody now. But on top of that, if you look at late game situations last week in the NFL, there were barely any flags, almost as if they also said, let's let these guys play late in game and see what happens. But there's some times where there's very obvious flags that need to be called. This isn't proven in any way. I guess you could call it a conspiracy if you really wanted to, but I watch a lot of football. I watch the vast majority of games in full every week, and it was very apparent to me that something changed in the course of the last week. And to Cam's point, you're betting on this stuff, buckle up, basically.
You know what bothers me, though, Rob, in the Pittsburgh game? So Pittman's in the air, whatever, and Buddy goes try to hit him clean, and he hits him clean. And the referee, the thing is, if you're a player, just stay down. Roll around a lot. Pretend you're dead, because there will be a flag, regardless of it being one of the cleanest hits ever. That's the thing that I really hate. It's like in hockey now, Rob, like, when you lay out a guy, I maybe he had his head down. Maybe I hit him clean. But the minute you see a guy dead, here comes the glove to your face. I'm going to fucking knock you out. I'm going to do all this shit. Like, you can't do a good play. Like, you can't hit somebody clean when you knock them out. The whole system needs to be recalibrated, fixed. I don't know what word you use for, like, the system is broken. Let's put it that way.
I think with that DeMonte KZ play there, I don't even think he was trying to hit Pittman. I just think he was trying to lay out for the ball.
Play.
Yeah. And whatever, you got to be in control of your body. I get it. But at some point, it's a rough sport. Like, you're taking on a risk every time you get on the field. And in some of these cases, I think that type of hit is like, the only way that type of hit doesn't happen is if the safety just says, I can't actually hit I can't make a play on the ball. And then what are we doing here? We're not even playing football anymore. Correct. So, and they suspend them for the full season. Like,
it's bullshit.
I mean, he's going to appeal, and he's not going to get a full season suspension, because that's a joke. And I hope Pittman's okay. Horrible hit. But there's just, I don't think there's any malicious intent there. Exactly.
He said it. The guy can't do it. He's just diving to make a play. He can't control. Once he's in the air, he can't control what the hell he's going to do. But anyway, the whole system needs work.
Okay, Rob, you have a silver pick?
I do. You guys will love this one. Absolutely love it. I'm going back on the Bailey Zappi train and taking the Patriots plus 6.5.
Wow.
Because I'm not even sure the Broncos can score 6 points on the Patriots. Nothing to do with the New England's offense. There's certain types of teams that I just never, ever, ever want to lay points with. And in fact, I want to fade them pretty regularly. The Denver offense is broken. They can't stretch the field. Sean Payton knows the limitations of this offense. He's very much playing a field position game. You look at the games where Denver has scored points, it's because they've turned the other team over in their opponent's territory. They just can't move it. On top of this, New England, best rushing defense in the league by a mile. So Denver is going to try to establish the run. They're not going to be able to do it. I think this is way too many points. Nobody wants to bet New England because they're trash, but they actually held their own against Kansas City for the majority of the game last week before falling apart in the second half to a good Chiefs team. I don't agree with the number. I think there's like a lot of motivational stuff built in here. Broncos need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. What's going on with New England? Bill's not going to be there anymore. I love to fade those types of narratives, generally speaking. So I'll take the 6.5 with the New England Patriots.
I gave it a hard look as well because I like the Patriots in the spot, but I just can't get there with them to put real money on it.
Oh, there's going to be some real money laid down. I love fading Russell Wilson with real money. That's what I live to do.
Last week. Yeah, I lived to do it too. It was great. The Lions took the Bronco and just. But you know what? Rob's right about Peyton. You saw there was times there. Do you think he's going to go for it? He just punt the ball. We need defense to get us in a good position, or we're not going to score points in this football game. So. The Patriots defense is very, very good. It's a shame that Stevenson's not there, or I would have probably made the Patriots. Pat, here's the deal. Originally, I like the Broncos too, but the more I think about this game, I'm like, they got to win by a touchdown.
Oh, I don't like the Broncos. It's just I don't want to bet on the Patriots.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So probably the smart thing to do with this game would be
stay away,
to leave it alone like a poisonous snake.
Yeah, this one will end up on the teaser. I almost guarantee you.
Oh boy. Yeah, it sounds good.
I remember back to like the first few weeks of the season. I'm trying to remember the game specifically with the Broncos. It was the Raiders week 1, and I think the Commanders
Washington week 2.
Yeah, where they opened as like 3-point favorites in those games, and they got bet to 3.5 in both of those. I was just like, oh, I guess I'll just take the 3.5 because the Broncos like winning by margin is not some. And now we're at later on in the year. And granted, the Broncos have been playing better. Their defense has improved a little bit. But again, the defense has improved because they generate a lot of turnovers. When they don't generate turnovers, look what happens, like what happened to them last week. I don't think that there's as big a gap between these two. I know it sounds dumb because the Patriots are so bad and the Broncos have went on this run. But I do think so much of that Denver run can honestly just be attributed to like good fumble luck, honestly, at the end of the day. So these prices are auto fade for Denver for me. And honestly, the opponent, I don't even know that it would have mattered in this case. I probably would have taken anyone.
To look at the rest of the season schedule, the Broncos are probably going to make the playoffs unless they absolutely gag it.
Oh, I can see them gagging this game right here. This reminds me of Steelers Patriots Thursday Night Football a few weeks ago, where you have one team that is just not very good and doesn't have an offense that's expected to win by margin. I could see this being another gag spot for Denver.
Well, if they can get through it, it's Patriots, Chargers, Raiders. They win all three. They're 10-7. They probably get in.
Mm-hmm. And Sean Payton has an argument for Coach of the Year if that happens.
He was Anderkirk, so that would make a lot of sense.
Oh, God. It makes tons of sense now.
Yep.
Bronze picks. Whoa. I'll lead you off on this. There was a couple that I was floating in between. I want to talk about the Seattle-Tennessee game with you, Cam. I kind of like the Commanders in New York getting points because why not? It's a field goal. The Jets going to beat anyone by 4. Who knows? Their defense would have to do a lot of scoring. But I'm just going to kind of stick to my guns on this one. I'll follow Feinberg's lead. He doesn't want to go to the game. Bills, minus 11.5 against the Chargers.
I got no problem with it.
The Chargers don't even want to tackle at this point.
The Bills are on fire, but it's a huge number, but I think the Bills will probably win this game by, what do you think, Pizzola? 14-17? Sound about right? Maybe more?
10. I think the Bills will win by 10.
I don't know
what's
if the Chargers
line?
score.
10.5?
11.5.
11.5. Okay. Yeah, Pizzola's the
Bills could win by 42 in this game. There's like a million scenarios here. The Chargers suck. Obviously, I'm not going to be the guy that sits here and like, oh, the Chargers are amazing or whatever. But at the end of the day, I mean, we bet numbers, and maybe the Chargers don't have much of a home field advantage, but like you're basically making the Chargers a pretty historically bad team at this point, and that could be the case, certainly. But I'm not a big fan of these types. I'm not arguing against you, Pat. You made your bet. I'm not going to bet the game. I just think that this is like a very, very big number at this point in the season.
Did not realize you had so much confidence in Giff as the head coach.
But you know what? There has been coaching bumps across the league.
Yeah, just like the Ottawa Senators last night.
Well,
I'm doing a show. Everyone's like, ooh, they're up 3-0. Let's live bet Arizona. Final score, Coyotes 4, Sens 3. Yeah, it worked for 2 periods.
Yeah, I know, but at different sports, different things as well.
Like, who cares? The Chargers, dude, they absolutely laid down and fuck the dog hard.
Well, they lost a turnover margin by 5.
Yeah, they did.
And that's
I can't make a case for the Chargers, and I'd love to take them if I could. I don't know. The problem is Easton. You know what? Easton stick can move a little bit. Like, is the back door open? Maybe the Bills are up like 17. They touchdown. I don't know. Pat, I like the Bills, but problem is it's a monster number. They should be able to kill them though.
They should be able to. We'll see. And they've done well against really bad opponents outside of the 2. If it's a New York team, that's one thing. Everyone else, they've kind of laid the wood to the bad teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have for years now, too. I get that. It's the thing for me is the Bills' offense. Bills smoked the Cowboys last week, but that was all through the running game, right? Like 270 yards on the ground. They didn't even have to pass the ball. And maybe that's the case again this week. But generally speaking, this isn't the same Bills offense that even from like early in the year, because they just want to do things completely differently now. They want to run the ball. They want Josh Allen not to turn it over. They don't stretch the field. Like, if you told me it's the Bills from a season ago in this spot, I'm going to lay it because they're throwing downfield a ton. They're going to score 40 points. It's almost a guarantee. Now it's almost like, all right, limit the mistakes. Let's get the job done. They just want to win on the road. That's why I have issues with laying the big spreads.
So a few other ones just to get some ideas floating in your mind, Cam. Unless you have a bronze pick, or do you want to round table this?
I'm actually going to tell you, I think this week is huge for the Dallas Cowboys. I think they have to prove they can win a road game. And I think Miami, just because they beat the Jets, gives a shit. Dallas needs, they need to figure out. They won 14 straight on turf. Speed is their friend, but they got to find a way to go win a game on the road. So they're a team I'm looking at. But Pat, I think the San Francisco 49ers take Baltimore, put them in a pretzel, put them in another one, beat them up. Lamar Jackson comes back. They beat him up again. All they do is kill teams. I don't know if Harbaugh and him have a relationship. I kind of a lot of people are scoffing. I mean, this is the favorite that I like. I think San Francisco is going to fucking smoke Baltimore. I think they win this game by 21 points. I know what? I'm not even going to change it. It was between Dallas and San Francisco. I'm taking San Francisco.
Hey, San Francisco -5?
Yes, that is my bronze pick. I think, listen, Baltimore, I love what they're doing. I love Lamar Jackson. I think they've done a good job. Great special teams. Yes. Calvin Ridley, his ass was in. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, fumbling inside the 10. Field goal kicker. Doink, shank. You take a look at that final score. It was not even close to what it should have been. Jacksonville didn't even cover teasers. It's fucking nuts. Anyway, they could have been in that game. San Francisco is superior to Baltimore. I know people like Baltimore. They're a beatable team. If San Francisco plays in this game, they will literally win this game by at least 2 touchdowns. That is my opinion.
It's funny.
San Fran, please.
I haven't heard much in the way of people taking Baltimore at all. It's just San Francisco smash is all I've heard, Rob.
Yes. Okay.
I don't pay attention to this stuff one way or another, so I don't know what people are saying about the game.
What do you think?
I don't like to bet against San Francisco at home unless I feel like I'm getting some sort of extremely valuable number. I don't think that this is an extremely valuable number. You have concerns with the left tackle for Baltimore, Ronnie Stanley, who I believe is in concussion protocol. Yep. Zay Flowers apparently spotted in a walking boot or something like that as well. There's a lot of negativity surrounding the Ravens. I subjectively agree with you, Cam. The Niners are going to score. 49ers are going to score 28 minimum, probably more than that, because that's what they do against everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. Doesn't matter who it is, unless it's inclement weather. That's going to happen again here. Baltimore's offense, to me, is not consistent enough to keep up. They lose a big play threat in Keaton Mitchell, who was helping them a lot in the running game.
Good call.
I'm with you, Cam. I mean, I don't know that I'll bet the 40. I prefer the over, honestly.
I like the over too, but
yeah.
we do more sides and totals. But I'm just going to say this. Lamar Jackson's a fantastic athlete, but running around and dinking and dunking against the Niners is a hell of a lot different than any other team.
Yep.
Every one of their guys is a killer, linebacker in. Their only Achilles heel is you can throw on them a little bit. Their secondary team scored. Arizona, I got to give the Cardinals credit. If you told me they scored 29 points, you would have think they covered the game. But Rob, as you mentioned, San Francisco just scores them into the 40s, and they cover big numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know how Baltimore competes. They also still have a 2-game lead. They can afford to lose a game. I know it's whatever. Kansas City's there. Miami's 1 game back for the all-out lead here in the AFC. But you know what? San Francisco is just a juggernaut at home, Pat. And if I lose this game, shame on me for taking a favorite, but I think they murdered them.
The other thing that I would watch out for is Cust is officially off the Falcons and back on the 49ers.
Oh, Christ.
Off the Falcons?
Off
Yeah.
the Falcons. What do you wait? Okay, so I should good. So I can take the Falcons this week against Indianapolis. If he loves the Colts as his gold pick.
Oh, no. He's still picking the Falcons, but he made the Falcons his adopted team 6 weeks ago, and they haven't won a game since. And then when
I'd worry about your Colts pick.
He was.
I got problems now.
He's taking Atlanta.
Problems.
Please.
You got problems.
Colts are fine. The Falcons are terrible. People need to realize this.
They do suck.
They
suck.
Terrible. They are terrible.
They suck. Early in the year, they were getting away with it because they had the healthiest injury report for 7 or 8 weeks of the season. As soon as anyone goes out for them, they don't have the depth. They're not good.
Aren't the Colts banged up too? They got injury problems, don't they?
They're getting
right tackle.
They're getting Taylor back. They're getting Moss back. It looks like Pittman's probably going to play, so that's good news.
Pat, I'm just saying, you know me, I'm an old bear beaten down at the stream. The line tells me that it's fucking Trap City. That's all I'm saying.
It's not Trap City. It's that people think that the Falcons are good, and they've been massively overvalued all year, and they're still overvalued.
Okay. I am not one of those. Don't put me in the camp that think the Falcons are good. I think they fucking reek. But anyway, whatever.
To your Dallas point, though, Cam, Dallas is
that's our
7-0 against the spread following an outright loss since the beginning of last season. They're a good rebound team.
So
Yeah, the problem
you
is
guys are
most of those
looking for a
rebounds have
theme?
been against bad teams. That's the only issue.
What's our theme then?
You still
Is
have
it-
to
is this
play the games.
Is this
Sure.
the country western theme? Remember where our friend put the thing together?
Yes.
I don't have that on me. So what teams entail the country western theme?
Cowboys, Texans.
Wow, I like all those teams this week. I think the country western team's strong. But Colts is animal, right? Colts and Bronco, that's horse.
I mean, this is your thing. You can, let's see.
No,
Yeah,
the guy
you don't have to conform to the limits of
yes.
society and the guy who
But
put
none of
together
our
groups.
viewers did that good of a job, Pat, in the miscellaneous religious one with Cardinals and Saints. What was it again? What was the word?
All right, so I have it in front of me. The Western theme entails the Cowboys, Broncos, Colts, and Texans. Those are your 4 options.
3-1 this week. They
Okay.
won't go 4-0.
The mythical are Giants and Titans. I would have put the Browns in there. I think Tim and I talked about that the Browns as elves
Yeah,
should be
Browns
in there.
are with the elf, Keebler elf. Yeah, you can go in.
Let's see. You have Pittsburgh and Minnesota. So you have people, and 49ers are people. These are all humans.
Oh, okay. The human theme. George Costanza, what's for Christmas? The Human Fund. We give to the Human Fund, Pizzola. That's our charity. Steelers, Niners. I wish the Cowboys were part. Well, they are humans,
Yeah,
but
you
they're
could throw them
country
in there.
western.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can be
Anyway,
multiple groupings.
I think the human theme is strong this week. Steelers at the Steel Factory. Yes. 49ers heading for gold. Entrepreneurs. Yes. And my other one was, who was my other one? Minnesota Vikings. They're pillagers, sorry, but they're still humans.
Yeah, see, if you had just taken out the Vikings and put in your Dallas pick, you would have had 3 of the 5 working man theme ones of the 49ers, Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, and Browns.
I love the working man theme this week. I think that's a great week. But anyway, I'll keep the Vikings in there. 1 pillager. There are actually 3 humans and 1 pillager among the human workers. Done.
Okay. Rob, you have a bronze pick?
I do. I was debating the Cowboys.
Oh, yes, Rob. Do it.
See, I
That's on my.
I kind of like the Dolphins, only because everyone seems to love the Cowboys. That they're just 2 teams that can't do anything right, so just take the team that no one wants
It's
to
a
pick.
big game. Pat, it's a huge week for the Cowboys.
It's a huge week for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins need this for the
I
division
know they
too.
do. I know.
I was debating the Chiefs as well.
I like the Chiefs as well.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Chiefs -10.
Oh, see, you almost got into Cam's theme for Fighters for Land with the Chiefs, Patriots, and Commanders.
Wow, that's a good one too. Fighters for Land's good. Another.
I actually don't mind the commies. It's probably Zach Wilson's still in protocol. It might be Trevor Siemian this week.
Fighters for Land / human workers is a very strong double theme this week.
What if at last second it's Aaron Rodgers in a wheelchair?
I don't think we have
The accessibility
able
teams with the
team.
Jets.
Yeah, team
Accessibility.
accessibility. Ramp at the beer store. Yeah, I don't know. Who's accessible? I guess Vikings when they get on your ship, if you give them access, but they're.
I would say
they're
that the Jets are probably the most accessible
Yes!
of all these teams.
Yes, you're right. The Jets are the accessibility team.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, if you have a step for your charger, to get there, but we're really reaching now.
It's well, I mean,
Now.
a lot of these have been reaches all year. It's
say
not
ne-
the start. It hasn't started now.
Now
The
is
problem
doing a
was we
lot of work.
analyzed it too good. It was good. It was good when it was just basic and stupid, and I made cases that didn't make sense. But now we're getting too real.
Yeah, so invest in the Human Fund Super PAC for week number 16 and win all the money, right, Cam?
You got it, Pontiac.
So Kansas City -10 is your pick, Rob?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs -10. I think it's a little bit short. Raiders definitely not as good as that blowout against the Chargers showed. Like I said, +5 turnover margin. We forget that Aiden O'Connell in previous weeks couldn't really move the ball. They already lost by 14 at home to the Chiefs a few weeks ago. And I think Kansas City's style of offense kind of is the way that you play this Raiders defense, right? The Raiders don't want to give up anything big. That's fine. The Chiefs don't want to take anything big. They just want to slowly march their way down the field, possibly Pacheco back in this game as well. I like the Chiefs -10. I think it's a bit short.
Well, the one thing that we didn't do well last week was pick a 6-game teaser because Jacksonville blew it at the very last second for us. So
Did they, or did
sons
the
of
refs fuck
bitches.
them with Ridley's touchdown when his ass was definitely in?
Well, either way, it lost. So
It did.
What you should do is
Right.
take to the internet and complain and get your money back.
I should. Actually, that's a good complainable one. There's visual evidence that says the fucking office in New York are a bunch of stooges.
I will
Put that
put.
in the human fund.
I'm going to put the Patriots plus 12.5 on our 6-point teaser.
I like that, Patrick. That is approved.
So, Rob, your selection.
Starting for the Titans.
We don't know.
Are we getting Tannehill?
I think
If Tannehill's
think we're
starting,
getting
that
Tannehill. Who are we getting for the Seahawks?
probably
Probably
Geno.
Drew Luck.
How are
I
your
don't start
How are
Drew
your
Luck.
rookie cards doing?
Better with that pass to Smith and Jigba for the win. For the win.
Like if we think it's going to be Drew Lock against Ryan Tannehill, I would take the Titans up to 8.5.
Fair enough.
Right? Like I did. Do they have argument like against that? Like
No, I don't
Tannehill's
believe
definitely an upgrade, right,
Yes,
over
yes, he
Levis,
is. Yeah, he is.
without a doubt. I like Lock, great game, but they scored 20 points on the Eagles defense. It's not like we need to.
But just hear me out for a bit. Just hear me out. Pete Carroll is one of those guys too, Rob. The guy's name should be Cam Conservative. Like,
Yeah.
they're the most predictable team. Let's run Walker on first, run Walker
Agreed.
on second, and put Lock into a 3rd and 6.
Dude.
That's not on Lock. That's on the fucking Seahawks play calling.
Agreed. You're preaching to the choir here, man. I bet Kenneth Walker over rushing attempts 11.5 for a lot of money on Monday because, of course, that's what Carroll wants to do. We just lost a game. Let's run the ball, establish the run. That's what they want to do. That's not conducive to beating Tennessee. I'll tell you that. The one thing Tennessee does well is stop the run. They do that really well.
Yeah,
Same as the Eagles, by the way. Eagles, a very top 5 run defense as well.
Yeah.
So we got Tennessee, New England. Who is your teaser selection, Cam?
Can you guys help me? Sorry, I've lost the spreads here.
Here, I will tell you this about San Francisco as well. Cust made San Francisco his best bet and teased them through 0.
I don't care about teasing through 0. The best bet stuff concerns me.
You don't care about teasing through 0?
No, I don't. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to have this conversation.
Well, why would you? You might as well just give your money to the sports book.
No,
you're teasing
I can do
through
whatever
numbers.
I want.
Of course you can, but you're literally there's no point in playing the teaser. Just lay the spread. But why? There's 0
Okay,
point.
so they're -5 to +1.5. Whatever. Say they lose by fucking 1. Like I don't.
Yes, but what's the probability of that
No,
happening?
but Rob, what makes them say they're going to win by 5? You're getting 6 extra points. It's a whole.
But the
different
points don't matter anywhere near what they're charging.
Say
It's
they
like,
win by 3.
oh my God, Cam, we
I
can't be having
understand.
this conversation.
No,
right now.
I know we can't.
It's
be having this
literally the
conversation.
worst bet you can make at a sports book. Teasing through 0. You're getting it. It's basically like giving somebody $1 and having them give you 65 cents back and say that's a fair trade.
I understand the way juice works. Okay, I'm just saying sometimes teasing through 0. If you think a game's going to be a certain way,
Don't
let's
do
not get
it.
into
0. Anyone listening to this, never do it. Never in your life tease through 0. It's the worst bet you can make. You might as well just burn your money. And there's going to be a time where you win that. Yes. And in all likelihood, that's going to make you want to do it again. If you want to keep your sportsbook account alive for life, tease through 0. That's my advice.
I have nothing to say.
Well, we need to get a teaser leg from you. Are you going to tease through 0?
Yeah, I know.
Because I think you
He's
should.
right.
I
know
think you
it's not
should.
the smartest
I think
thing
you
in the
should tease
world.
through 0 on this one just to show Rob up.
Yeah, they're going to win. They're going to cover the spread. So just bet them to cover the spread.
I already did.
By the way, this is the game. I honestly want you to do this because every single time in the history of this show that I have gotten upset about a bad move, in my opinion, that
how am I
has
picks
won.
doing though? Like
The
I'm
San
doing pretty
Francisco
good.
49ers will win this game by 1 point, exactly 1 point, because of the rant that I just went on. 27-26 49ers is your final score on Christmas night.
Rob, I agree with you about the mathematics and the juice. I'm just saying, if you don't care, some people aren't big players. They bet $5-10.
It doesn't matter that, Cam. That does not matter. It doesn't matter whether you bet
it might not
$1.
matter to them how much they're playing. Like maybe they don't care about 20 cents or 10 cents or whatever.
Well,
the fuck. Like,
okay,
you know?
here's the thing. If you're only betting for entertainment, you do whatever you want.
That's what
If
I'm
you,
saying.
But most people want to win betting. People don't just bet because they want to piss away money. How much fun is that? Like you bet for
It's not fun.
entertainment,
I've
but if
done
you're
it
always
before.
of course that's my. I'm just trying to educate. That is the worst bet you can make at a book.
I'm not saying it's smart, but I'm just saying they're okay. I don't want to get into this.
Okay,
right now.
we're done. We're done. We're done,
You
Cam.
are correct. You're right.
We-
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
I don't
Just
want to
saying
do
you-
this with you before the holiday season. My
I
apologies.
understand teasing through those numbers is not the smartest thing. You could still win a bet, but you're right. The juice and the math is bad. I get it. Thanks. Let's do another game because I don't want to touch this game now. It's tainted. It's fucking tainted. Bad meat.
Well, Ryan,
What do we got? Give me
Ryan,
something else.
According to Mike Vrabel, Ryan Tannehill will be the QB Sunday if Will Levis isn't available, Rob.
Okay. I mean, either
Okay.
way, I think it's
How about
it's
Pittsburgh
fine.
plus 8.5?
Yeah, I'm okay with that
Okay.
too.
Thank you. Done. Human theme. We're back without the teaser leg, without on San Francisco. Don't trust me. I'm betting the -5.
Well, it depends on how you feel
money line
about
parlays.
whether or not Titans are humans or not, because I think would say that they're mythical creatures.
They are mythical creatures. They're Titans. Giants can be humans and mythical creatures because there's big people like Andre the Giant.
There we are.
Is a Titan a human? I want to
A Titan is a myth. No, he's a mythical
It's a
human.
god.
though.
Titans are
He's-
gods.
Gods.
pure
Titans
pure,
are gods.
pure
You're right.
Titans are humans who have been injected with Titan spinal fluid.
What?
Oh Christ! Jesus Christ!
Quick Google
honestly,
search,
like
Cat-
people,
Pat.
no, just bet through zero and end this guy's fucking opinions right now. I just don't care. Rob, you really I was so like everything was going so good. You're being so nice. And
I
then-
will no longer talk betting strategy.
You're right about
There's-
it, though.
there's-
I'm not an idiot. I've been betting for 40 years. I'm just saying I don't care if people do it or not. It's not for us to tell people what to fucking do. It's their lives. That's what I'm saying. Let them do whatever they want to do. But you're right. If you want to lose more in juice, you could bet through it. But sometimes it works. That's all I'm going to say. You are correct.
Yes.
The
Sometimes it works.
The Titans were the pre-Olympic gods who ruled the cosmos in ancient Greek mythology before the Titanomachy War. That's not pronounced right. They were giant, immortal deities and considered the first generational gods born from the primordial gods, Uranus and Gaia. So there you go.
Uranus. There it is. Yeah, that sounds like a mythical beast to me that doesn't move. Kind of like Joe Flacco.
So
Immobile.
Joe Flacco should be the Titans quarterback, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yes, he actually should be.
You know what? Joe Flacco it would be a good Titan. He fits with the Titans.
Yes,
in
he
my
does. Yeah, immobile, statuesque,
opinion.
mythical. Yeah.
Mythical because he's old. He's just old.
Yeah.
So he fits the Titan theme.
Well, that will do it for us. We shall return in a week's time with the week 17.
Whoa. What are we doing for Christmas? We need to know. That's the thing. Like, are we?
Did we
is
need to
there-
know? Did we need to know on air, or could we have discussed it off air?
Another good point by you. Sorry, Pat. Continue, and I'll just shut my fucking pie hole. I'm sorry about that. I was just thinking about something else, and I apologize. Sorry.
At Cam Stewart Live on X, at Rob Pizzola on the X Machine as well, the Forward Progress YouTube channel for Rob and the Hammer.bet. You can check out Cam over at SportsGrid as well. 13 hours a day or something like that every single day of the week.
No, I'm on the night shift, but it's still 6 days a week. Yeah.
6 days a week.
I'm like Flacco. I'm old.
Hey, if you got nothing to do at 2 a.m., tune into SportsGrid and hang out with Cam.
We're done at 2 a.m. But
All right,
from
so tune in slightly
9:30
before
to
that.
2 a.m. Yeah, 9:30 to 2 a.m. is a good time to tune in. Thank you.
All right, you can catch him and Morency over there. You can follow me at the PME, play in the fantasygolfchampionship.com. One and done for the race for the Mayo Cup and both DraftKings Listeners Leagues this week as well. Enter that Spotify poll and rate and review the show along with smashing the like and subbing to the channel. That can be your Christmas gift to us, and hopefully the Human Fund will pay you out well in week number 16. Have a very Merry Christmas, a very happy holidays, and I will see you next time.
Mayo experience. Experience.